Hey guys, welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name is Curtis, and today I'm going to be talking about fragrances that you can wear in the summer evenings. These fragrances tend to have like a slight bit of sweetness to them, so you need to be careful with this and adjust for the climate that you live in. But I know in my particular climate here in Japan, during the day, we have very high humidity. And we even have a bit of humidity in the evenings, but the temperatures definitely do drop a bit. So it would be difficult for me to pull these fragrances off during the day here in Japan, but in the evenings, it is definitely possible. And I've worn all of these fragrances in the evenings here in the summertime, and they all work extremely well. So today I'm going to be showing you 5 fragrances in my collection that work perfectly for those slightly cooler summer evenings. So if you're curious to see the fragrances that I've chosen, then let's go. So first up on the list, from the house of Kajal, we have Lamar. Man, so this fragrance right here has such a lovely blast of pineapple in the opening. Now that pineapple subsides as you progress through the fragrance, but man, that opening is to die for. Now basically this fragrance kind of goes down the road of like a Baccarat Rouge. It doesn't get as sickeningly sweet as a Baccarat Rouge does, but it definitely shares that DNA. But that pineapple that you get in here definitely kind of sets it apart and sends it on a different path. I absolutely love it because it almost gives it, you know, it gives it that summery sweetness that you're looking for those cooler summer nights. This is a great one. I would just say be careful and go easy on the trigger because the performance on this is really good. The sillage is phenomenal. So if you overspray this, it could come off a bit cloying. So I don't know, I always believe that less is more. And remember, like for me, my personal opinion on this is that, you know, we're wearing fragrances as an accessory to our personality, to our overall vibe. And so I don't want my fragrance to be the first thing that a person notices about me because it's an accessory, you know? So I want that to just, you know, come naturally and not kind of shoved in their face. So yeah, go easy on the trigger with this one. It performs really well. And you will get compliments. People really enjoy this one. So yeah, enjoy those compliments because they will come. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Lamar by Kajal. So next up on the list, from the house of Lorenzo Pazzaglia, we have Summer Hammer. Man, what can I say? Mango, pineapple, coconut, rum. Summer evening banger. I'm telling you guys, this is tropical vibes in a bottle, vacation vibes. That's what this is. Now, the reason why I say this is better in the evenings, as kind of like I mentioned before, as for me in Japan, we have very humid summer days. So there is a slight sweetness in here. So that could be a little bit cloying in that high humidity. So the evenings, when those temperatures cool a little bit, this one is a banger, I'm telling you. And this is another one that you must go easy on the trigger because the projection in sillage is extremely heavy. This is an extrait de parfum concentration, so you only need 1 or 2 sprays with this and you are good. Longevity is 12 hours plus. One thing that I noticed, most, if not all, the fragrances from this brand are beastly in terms of performance. So you really don't need a whole lot of sprays with this. And if you're not familiar with this brand, this is an Italian brand, an Italian house. And there's definitely Italian vibes in this bottle here. But yeah, this is a great one from the house. And the house in general puts out some really good fragrances. I'm a big fan of this house. So yeah, and I have a sample set from them, so I'm planning on doing a full review of this house in a later video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is a great one from beginning to end and definitely want to check out from the brand. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Summer Hammer from Lorenzo, Pazzaglia. Next up from the house of Goldfield and Banks, we have Ingenious Ginger. Yeah, so this is probably my favorite one from the house. Basically, you get some very fizzy, bright ginger here, mixed with some sweeter vanilla notes. And yeah, it really makes for an intoxicating combination here. I only have a 10 ml sample and I'm slowly going through it, but once I do burn through this sample, I'm planning on getting a full bottle of this one. I would say that this one has, moderate performance, kind of moderate projection, moderate sillage, and longevity I would also say is moderate. But that's all you really need with this fragrance right here. I don't plan on, if I'm wearing this in the evenings, I don't need my fragrance to last like 8 or 10 hours. I just need it to last a few hours while I'm out and I'm good to go. So this one does a perfect job of that. But yeah, this is definitely a good one. And I know this one sometimes gets compared to Vibrato, Suspiro's Vibrato. I've never tried that fragrance, but I do really enjoy this one, and it's definitely one to check out from the brand. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Ingenious Ginger by Goldfield and Banks. Next up from the house of Amouroud, we have Silver Birch. So this one's mainly about the fig and the orange blossom working together in perfect harmony. This is a heavy, plump, juicy fig combined with a bit of fruitiness. And then also you have some suede leather and vetiver that are holding down the base here, but they're not overly prominent. They're not so much in your face. They're just in the base, providing this fragrance with a little bit more depth and character. And so because you have those heavier notes in the base, I would say if you were to wear this in the daytime, in the high humidity, those notes, it's possible that those notes could push forward a bit more. But in my experience so far, those notes so far this summer have still remained quite subdued. So it hasn't been cloying, and I've worn this in some pretty high heat so far. So you could probably pull this one off in the daytime, but the nighttime, it would probably work even better, I think. But yeah, this is a great one from the brand. And again, this is another one. Performance is out of this world. Really, really good. I love it. And this is another one that's just a very unique compliment getter. People really do enjoy this one. So yeah, it's definitely one to check out from the brand. This is the only fragrance that I have from Amouroud, but I'm intrigued by this brand and definitely want to check out more. This is a stunner for sure. So the name Silver Birch, there's no birch listed in the note breakdown, so I'm not too sure why they named it Silver Birch. Possibly because of, there's a combination of other notes that's kind of giving it like a birch-like vibe. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, this is a good one from beginning to end, and it's definitely one to check out. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Silver Birch by Amouroud. And last but not least, from the house of Nishane, we have Hacivat. Now, I don't need to speak a whole lot about this fragrance, as this fragrance has gotten quite a bit of hype in the fragrance community, but what I will say is this is definitely a stunner, good performer, and it just smells really, really good. I enjoy the smell of this one. Now, the reason why I say in the very high humidity why this might not work is because you get a heavy blast of oak moss in here, and so that could be a bit, I don't want to say cloying, but a bit off-putting to some people. So it's just something to be mindful of. But in the evenings, you could definitely pull this one off. Has a heavy blast of pineapple in the opening, which is slightly screechy, but I actually enjoy it. And then, like I said before, once you start to move into the dry down, you get that oak moss that really starts to push forward. But this is a great one. If you want to be a bit daring and add a bit of sweetness to this, you could layer this one with Nishane's Ani, or Nishane's 100 Silent Ways in the evenings would be awesome as well. But what I would say in terms of the layering and how I typically do that is I'll always lay down the heavier fragrance first. So if I'm using Ani or 100 Silent Ways, I'll put on maybe like 1 or 2 sprays of that. And then after that dries down a little bit, I'll layer on Hacivat. So I'll do kind of like a 1 to 2 spray ratio here. So 1 spray of Ani or 100 Silent Ways, and then 2 sprays of Hacivat. And that's how I kind of ratio that out. But yeah, if you want to add a bit of sweetness, that's something to do. But this fragrance is great on its own, and it's definitely a popular one amongst many people. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Hacivat, you definitely should. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Hacivat by Nishane. Alright guys, so that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content, and let me know down in the comments section what fragrances do you have in your collection that you think really work well in those summer evenings. I'd love to hear about them. Alright, well I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.